What it do, baby? It's your boy Tyrik Wynn, man. Y'all are tuning in to another episode of NJP, Navigating Journalism Podcast, and we here at probably one of the greatest conventions that has happened. It's the NABJ convention, National Association of Black Journalists, man. It's been fantastic. We actually on the career fair floor right now, and we in Birmingham this year, living it up in Magic City, and I have a very good brother sitting next to me. It's Amir Vera, who is a breaking news editor for CNN and also on the executive board for NABJ, the vice president of digital. So welcome to the show, man. How you been?
I'm all right, man. Thanks for having me today.
Oh, yeah, of course, man. It's so great to have you, man. I mean, you've been doing big things. You just moved to LA and everything.
Yeah, no, it's been quite the transition this year. I moved to LA in March, and, you know, I'm loving LA. It's always something to do. I get to, if in one day I could go to the beach and go to the mountain in the same day, so it's pretty cool.
That's what's up, man. So what was that? Because I know you were here in Atlanta. You were here in Atlanta doing CNN. You were a writer, and then you just How was that transition?
The transition, it's very seamless, if you will. I've always been doing editing and leadership stuff in NABJ, so I just thought one day, I was like, man, I've been doing this in NABJ a long time. What if I did this? And I've been doing it for free.
Yeah.
So, like, what if I did it in a newsroom? You know what I mean? So that's what made me do that transition, and so, you know, I just like mentoring people and guiding people, and that's what I get to do now.
That's
so,
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Who have you mentored? What are some of the people you've been mentoring?
Young writers. There's on the team that I'm on, the live news team. There's probably like 2 or 3 writers, and this is their like first job.
Oh,
so
wow.
like getting to like mentor them in writing and stuff like that, like just not only CNN style but AP style, things like that. So it's been pretty cool.
That's good. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, learning the AP style when I first, it was difficult. That AP style gets you, yo.
I had a teacher at college who we took an AP style class. He would just read the AP style book every class. It was a struggle. I learned it, and then we would take tests, but it was just like, imagine just sitting in class and somebody's literally going like, A, this is how you do this. B, this is how you do this. It was tragic.
Yeah, I feel that,
Yeah.
man. I remember my first couple of papers was Fs because they was AP style. I was like, yeah, AP style just ain't my thing.
I feel
already knew I was like broadcasting, like, print, not my thing.
Got it.
Yeah, man. But so you're actually running for a second term in ABJ, serving your first term as vice president of digital, right? By when this airs, we'll already know the results.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I'm sure you're going to come out on top, man.
Yeah.
So you've been in office. What has it been like being in office for NABJ, serving the black journalists? What has that been like?
It's been great. I've always had a passion for helping people out and, like I said, mentoring and just making connections between people. So, like, this has honestly been, like, the perfect position. And it's not an entirely old position. There's only been 2 other people that held this position before me. So, you know, lucky number 3, I guess. And this is that I can think of. The other 2 were appointed. I was appointed. So this is the first time there's actually been competition for that role. But I'm getting sidetracked. Sorry, to answer your question. It's been great being on the board and just having that influence, like not over people, but just having influence in journalism in general, and then just being in the digital aspect of it. So, you know, I've had a great time like networking with people. I've met so many people over the last 2 years that, you know, you asked me 5 years ago, oh, you'd be on the national board for NABJ? I'd be like, what? So, yeah. So it's been great.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and I look up to you, man, because, like, that's one of my dreams one day is to be, you know, be on the national board and stuff. You know, maybe one day I can be president in my 30s.
Yeah.
That'll be fine.
I think it could happen. Yeah. Keep getting involved, man.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, so let me ask you that, like, so being a journalist, you at CNN, you had a big company, breaking news editor. Like, I know you stay busy, and then you also serving on NABJ. How are you balancing the two?
A lot of time management. I gotta write a lot of stuff down. If I don't write it down, I'm gonna forget. So, like, before the NABJ convention, I have this whole schedule in my notes mode. Not on the app. I have to create the schedule myself because it's in my shorthand and everything like that. But yeah, no, honestly, it's just all about time management. I know how much I'm gonna dedicate to NABJ a day, and then obviously my job. So, like, and even I have to do NABJ stuff sometimes during my job. And my job understands that and stuff. They're very flexible about it. So it's been pretty cool. Sometimes it can be a lot, but, you know, I'm able to handle it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. What's been the most rewarding part so far?
Of NABJ?
Yeah.
The most rewarding part is the impact that you have on other people. You know, we got to toot our own horn sometimes. So I got a LinkedIn message from a young woman who she was trying to apply at CNN a whole bunch of times. It was CNN or some other national outlet, I forget. And she emailed me recently, actually. She had just graduated, and she's like, hey,
Okay.
I'm in an early career program, and I just wanted to say, like, you really inspired me to do that. And that feels really good to hear.
Yeah, so it's always good to hear those stories.
Exactly.
Sure.
So having that impact on somebody, that's been the most rewarding part.
Wow.
And that's not the only story I have about that, but yeah, that's the most recent one that's happened.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That got to be like a good feeling when you can when you know that you done help somebody out.
Exactly.
You know, especially it's always about, like I always say, it's about paving the way.
Exactly.
You know
And paying it forward. Cause
Exactly.
I got help on the way here, so
Yeah. Like our NABJ founders and paved the way for us,
Exactly,
man.
exactly,
Shout out to all of them, man. They've been fantastic. So, being breaking news editor, right, for CNN. I mean, the stories that y'all cover are just, a little bit of everything, right?
Yeah.
So,
not a little bit, everything.
well, everything. So, I guess with that, what has been the craziest thing you've covered so far?
The craziest thing I covered, I would say, was Kobe Bryant's death. I remember when that happened, and that comes to mind. Obviously, the insurrection too. That was wild. But the thing that sticks out to most when somebody asks that question is Kobe Bryant, because I remember TMZ. They broke the news first, and obviously, it's TMZ. They actually have a booth here. They have a booth here. And so they broke the news, and I was just like, what? And I remember my boy sent me the article. 20 minutes later, my boss is like, you need to come in early. And I was like, wow. And I didn't even I wasn't a typical writer reporter that day. I worked on it's called the Dynamic Live Experience, a live blog basically. I hope that doesn't get me in trouble, just for people that aren't at CNN. And I was assigned to work on that. So I was a lead writer on that all day, and it was me and just another editor working on that all day. And I remember coming in, it was probably 1 or 2 o'clock. I blinked, and it was 11 o'clock. And I was like, wow, this is, and you don't get to process the news as it's happening and stuff like that. So once I get home, and this is back when I used to get off at 1 a.m. So once I get home, I'm like, damn, Kobe Bryant is really, excuse my language, I'm like, man, Kobe Bryant is he's gone for real. And that's the craziest news event that I've covered to date.
Yeah, that was such a crazy moment, man.
Yeah.
I remember I was actually at the Pro Bowl when it happened. Yeah, we was watching a football game, and they had put it on. We had found out because they had put it on a jumbotron.
Right.
It was.
That's one of those moments that everyone is always going to remember where they were when it happened.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And that was 5 days before my birthday, actually.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I know. And I was like, man. But yeah, that was definitely one of my favorite stories to work on. Obviously tragic, but it's also the craziest story I worked on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there are a whole bunch of media companies, right? Out of all of them, why CNN?
I got the job through NABJ, actually. Shout out NABJ, of course.
NABJ be doing stuff,
They
man.
do. They be hooking
putting
people
us
up.
on, man.
But I can tell you that story real quick. So just a background, I have a background in newspapers. So I worked at a teeny tiny newspaper at the Progress Index. It's called the Progress Index in Petersburg, Virginia. Near my hometown and stuff. It's a regional paper.
Petersburg.
Petersburg, yeah.
Petersburg,
I'm not from Petersburg. I just say that because people don't know where Prince George is.
Not far from Richmond.
Yeah, exactly. 30 minutes south. And then I went to the Virginia-Pilot newspaper in Norfolk, Virginia, where I was a breaking news reporter, basically the night cops reporter. I learned how to speak scanner and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then, so the story about CNN, I never had any aspirations to work there.
Wow.
None. My ultimate goal at that point in my life, I was 25, 26. I was trying to just be at a large newspaper and grow from there.
And how old are you now?
I'm 31.
Okay. 31.
So I was just trying to be at a large newspaper and grow from there, and I got that. I made that happen by 24. And so I was thinking about settling in Virginia, all that good stuff. And then just with NABJ, I'm all about networking, as I said. So my first 2 NABJs, I was always applying to the different workshops. So shameless plug, apply to the workshops. That's how you meet people and that's how you get jobs. I did the NBCU workshop my first 2 years going to NABJ. And then 2017 in New Orleans, I got into this is funny, I got into the CNN producers workshop. I'm like, let me just apply. That's how I meet people, blah, blah, blah. And I got into I applied to both the reporters and the producers one, got into the producers one, had no clue what I was doing. The first activity that they did, you're like, they want you to build a show, and I'm like, A block, B block, C block. I'm like, what are these people? And so
producing ain't easy, y'all.
Oh, I know.
Y'all who
It's
don't
not.
know.
It is not at all. So shout out to the producers too. But
sure.
like, I had no clue what I was doing, and I was like one of 2 newspaper people in the entire producer and reporters cohort that year. And so then we get to the lunchtime panel, and I remember it was Marcus Mabry and Kathy Strait, and Marcus is in programming at CNN, so he handles like push alerts and stuff. Kathy, at the time, was the managing editor of the National Desk, and so of CNN Digital. And so like they're talking, and there was a third person I can't remember, and they're all like, yeah, Marcus, I used to be at the Wall Street Journal, New York Times. Kathy, I used to be at the Star Tribune and at the USA Today. And I'm like, these are newspaper folks like me at CNN. Like, what? When does that happen? And then so like immediately I just start asking questions. How can I make my newsroom more digital? How do you guys do this? How do you guys do that? And all the TV people in there are looking at me like, what station does this guy work at? And I just remember walking up to Marcus and Kathy afterward, and I'm like, man, I wasn't trying to talk trash about my paper. I just want them to become more digital, blah, 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 blah. And then Kathy asked a magic question. She was like, so you work at the Virginian-Pilot. How are they treating you at the Virginian-Pilot? Know this, if they ever ask you that at NABJ, they're trying to poach you. And
trying to get you.
Exactly. If they ask you how your job is treating you, they want you.
Yeah.
And so, the rest is history. And that's how I got to CNN.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's a great story,
Yeah.
yo. And congratulations, because let me
Thank you.
tell you something. Being at CNN, I mean, that's something big. It ain't easy to get in there.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't get an internship over there. Like, I mean, yeah, CNN,
Gotcha.
you there, yo.
Yeah,
Like,
thank you.
Do you feel like you reached the top? Or you feel like there's more to go?
There's more to go. There's always more to go. Like whenever I do stories for CNN and stuff like that, I was talking about impact earlier. So impact in both NABJ and at CNN. I always love it when like students or like former coworkers and stuff like that. I'll say students. They'll be like, "Hey, I was writing this paper and I cited a CNN article and it looks like you wrote it." I'm like, "Wow, that's crazy." Or like I wrote a Afro-Latino story 3 years ago, and a Latino engineering nonprofit hit me up and like wanted me to speak on that. And so like just having that impact is really cool. But as far as the top, like I don't know what the top is at this point. So, I'm just not really, I wouldn't say going with the flow, but I'm just continuously working my way up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you. Let me, as far as like working your way up, right? Are there other aspirations that you have?
Yeah, so I want to get in my leadership bag right now. Being on the board in NABJ, and I was involved in local chapters and stuff. That's how we met. I used to be president of the Atlanta chapter.
Yes.
Shout out AABJ.
For sure.
I done leadership stuff in NABJ, like I said. So I wanted to see. Now I'm seeing where the leadership ladder leads at at CNN and stuff like that. And right now, like I said, I'm a breaking news editor, so I determine the posts that go into the DLE, and I obviously also edit them and stuff. And then, I do analytics stuff behind the scenes and everything like that. So I'm just adding more tools to my tool bag, man.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
I love it. Love it for you. So excited for everything you got going on.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Very, very impressive, man.
Yeah,
very impressed.
Thank you.
And like I said, of course, we media brothers, but I look up to you.
Thanks.
You know what I'm saying? You
Thanks,
got a lot going on, man. I mean,
Thank
it's
you,
a lot of people who, definitely want to be in your shoes, right?
Okay.
You definitely in a good spot, yo.
Thanks.
So that's
Thanks,
what's up.
Thanks.
And then, so you VP of Digital now, right?
Yes.
Of course, running for a second term, right? Mm-hmm. Could we see you as NABJ president one day? I mean, that's what people thinking.
Getting the exclusive questions. 2 years ago, I would have said absolutely not. Mm-hmm. But now, it's not a hard no now. I'll say it like that. It's not a hard no now. It could be a possibility. I'm not saying yes or no, but yeah, it's something to definitely think about.
Okay,
yeah.
Nice. I'm gonna run against you.
Okay, I got you. You can be the VP Digital by then.
I could.
So
yeah, for sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's awesome, man.
Yeah, man.
And what I want to know this, right? So we're here at the NABJ convention. That's Association of Black Journalists. For those that don't know, being a black journalist, right? Mm-hmm. How do you stay true to yourself? How do you be authentic within everything that you do?
How do you be authentic in everything that you do? You bring your true self to the table.
Yeah.
So, everybody talks about code switching and stuff like that, and obviously that's needed in certain spaces. But like when I'm interviewing people, when I'm talking to people, I don't treat it like an interview. I treat it like a conversation. Like how me and you are talking right now, that's how I conduct my interviews and stuff. And obviously, I'm taking timestamps and stuff as I'm doing it because I'm not on TV. But now I'm not so much in a role where I do like that reporting and stuff like that. But I still, even when I'm talking to writers and stuff like that, I'm still asking them questions and probing them. And, going back to that mentoring thing, I don't just edit stuff. I edit it and the writers know, like I'll send them, I'll be like, hey, here's some edits for you, and I'll show them exactly what I edited, so that way they themselves can grow.
Yeah. Go above and beyond.
Exactly. But to further answer your question, it's just about being comfortable in your skin. So like, I understand that a lot of black and brown people, they have imposter syndrome. They sometimes feel like the company they are lucky to be at the company, but they need to get in that mindset where they're like, the company is lucky to have me.
Exactly.
Because
you better own that.
Exactly. You got to.
Yeah.
Because, if it weren't for our voices and stuff, some stuff wouldn't get covered. You remember the Versus stuff?
Yeah.
Like that I was covering and stuff?
I remember that.
Yeah. Like, that wouldn't have been covered had I not been there. And like, I just think about, editors and writers coming up to me. And I also ask questions because, I don't know everything. Yeah. So like, when it came to like sports and hip hop stuff, like when it came to sports and hip hop stuff, I was, they would come to me and ask me like, is this rapper a big deal? Like, is this a big deal in sports and stuff like that? And like to concisely answer the question, like a lot of black and brown journalists talk about getting pigeonholed, and I never felt pigeonholed in any of my jobs because, I bring that perspective of knowing about hip hop and sports and pop culture and stuff like that, but I also know what I'm doing. Like, I can write like a political story, a crime story, education story, and stuff like that. So,
well-rounded journalist.
Yeah,
man.
you gotta be. You gotta know everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For sure.
So
you actually mentioned hip hop. Coming up on 50 years of hip hop.
It is.
Right?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. You got anything special coverage plans for that?
No, I don't personally. I wanted to go to a session this morning, but I had to go to a meeting. So it's and I'm reading. I believe the New York Times did it. 50 years and 50 rappers. I think it's a really cool story where they talk to 50 rappers across all generations and just about their thoughts on hip hop and stuff. It's in my interesting reads right now. So that's what I'm doing.
That's good, man. Yeah. So let me ask you this, right? So with being a black journalist, right? Have you ever been in a situation where or any job where you were like the only black person, or like maybe it was like limited individuals, and if so, how did you handle yourself?
There's been times where I wasn't the only one, but I've been like one of a few. And the way I handled that is, like I said, being comfortable in your skin. So like, I grew up in a very diverse environment and stuff. My mom was in the military. I grew up in Germany, blah, 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 blah. And so like, I've always known how to, be my authentic self in every space that I'm in. And so, and I understand not a lot of people have that privilege and stuff like that. But that's how I've done that. And also, I realized at my second job that you need to speak up when stuff happens. So, like, if you're one of the only ones in the room, it's a big responsibility, of course. But like, if somebody's doing something wrong, you gotta call that out.
Let them know.
Yeah, you gotta let them know. Because otherwise, going back to the point that I made earlier, if you're not there, no one's gonna be there to speak up. So that's how I handle that.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, man, I appreciate this so much.
Ain't no
been
problem.
Great.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. Before we go, got a couple lightning round questions for you.
Okay.
So,
lightning round questions.
So Atlanta or LA?
These are lightning round questions. Atlanta.
Atlanta?
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite restaurant?
Favorite restaurant? I really don't even eat out that often. I be cooking and stuff like that. Shoot. I don't have a favorite restaurant, to be honest with you. Favorite food? I love soul food. I love soul food, yeah. Right. Love soul food. I love Spanish food. My mom's Honduran, like I said,
nice. Okay.
I grew up with a lot of chicken and rice and stuff like that, yeah.
Okay. Favorite vacation spot?
Favorite vacation spot? I haven't been there yet, but I want to go to Hawaii. I feel like that's going to be a favorite spot of mine.
Man, you'll love it, yo.
Okay.
I'm on my way there next month.
Okay, got you. Now that I'm on the West Coast, that's my plan to go out there.
Yeah.
So,
you ain't even far. Just
Yeah.
6-hour plane ride.
Exactly,
Yeah,
so,
you straight.
yep.
Yeah, go on take that plane ride.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to, man.
Okay. What most memorable convention?
The first one. I first joined NABJ in 2016 when it was in DC. I was working in Norfolk, Virginia. I had no excuse not to go.
Yeah.
And that's been my favorite one because it's the first one and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And it was just we were also at NABJ that year, and
Yeah.
Hillary came that year too. So that being my first NABJ, that set the tone for all the rest of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Best interview.
Best interview? Shoot, these are lightning round questions. What has been my best interview? I would say most memorable interview would be, dang, I've been in the business a long time now that I'm thinking about it.
Getting old.
Yeah, clearly. My best interview has to be, I'm trying to think of stories that I've written.
Like celebrities, political figures.
Like I'll say it like this: the best interviews that I've gotten haven't been like celebrities and stuff like that. It's been stories that are about human interest.
Okay,
So
yeah.
I've written a lot of those. I can't think of one off the top of my head right now, but just stories that get to the core of what it means to be human, basically. Like no matter what story you do, it's always like the core of it is like, how does this affect people? What is this impact on real people? Those are my best interviews that I've conducted.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. And then last question. So you've been running on this, right? Why Amir, right?
yeah. Hashtag
so
why Amir.
Yeah. So hashtag why Amir. So why Amir?
Why Amir? Because, and I actually ran out of time yesterday during the candidates forum because I started to go in and stuff like that. But I've created change wherever I've been, whether that's in my jobs or in NABJ, but specifically in NABJ. I joined Hampton Roads Black Media Professionals as the PR chair, and I created a digital newsletter, if you will, so every Friday people knew they were getting a newsletter from me. Atlanta, I made the byline, the byline.
Yep, the byline.
I made that into a digital product because I used to print it out.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah, and I was like,
wow.
why are we doing this? And so,
Yeah.
I was like, it's 2019.
Making an impact.
Yeah.
There we go.
And then, so I've just been doing that everywhere I've been. And then on top of that, a lot of people ask me sometimes, they're like, oh, how much do you get paid to be on the NABJ board? You don't get paid. I'm doing this for free, and I'm doing it because I love to do it, and I'm passionate about it. And I just care about NABJ members, and I want to give as much back to NABJ as NABJ has given to me thus far. So that's why I'm here.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
Why Amir? Love it, man. And I'm a little salty, man. You ain't asked me to make no campaign video for you. You ain't asked me to endorse you. You know what I'm saying? Like Ken Levin, like he asked me to make a video and everything. It's like Amir ain't hit me up. I would endorse
I got
this
you, man.
man.
Listen, I had like a set list of people we made with my campaign manager, and it was like a list of 30 people, and we went through about who I've worked with and stuff like that. So that's what that was. I didn't contact any of my mentees, if you will, to make a video. So nothing personal.
Yeah.
Just like I wanted to get people that I've worked
mad.
in.
I ain't mad. But I'm publicly endorsing you right now. So
Thank you,
make sure
man.
y'all vote
Thank you,
Amir.
man. Thank you,
Yeah,
man.
Appreciate it.
No problem.